Hello and welcome back to the 816, the 6XO podcast. First of all, I apologize for this long break, but today we're going to be going into our Super Bowl recap. Biggest game ever, a lot of tears shed. But anyways, we'll have all that and more when we come back. Chiefs-Eagles, Kelsey Bowl, highly anticipated. Brothers facing off for the first time in the Super Bowl. And as you can tell, like I said, Kelsey Bowl, new heights Super Bowl. Just outstanding play by both teams. Just a lot of firepower. The best teams, literally, tied records. 16-3, I believe, coming into the game. Just a lot of energy, a lot of high power value on defense and offense. So the Eagles have the best defensive line in all of football, leading the league this year in sacks. 4 D linemen with 10-plus sacks, unheard of numbers, and our O-line gave up 0. Anyways, we'll get to more of that later. But we started off the game giving the Eagles a football, which surprisingly you would think Andy Reid would not give one of the best offenses in the league the football right away. The Eagles marched right down the field. After getting some hard hits delivered by that Kansas City defense, we were letting them know we were coming to play, but they drove down the field and took it up 7-0. Unfortunate, but you know your boys answered right away. Patrick Mahomes drove down on the Eagles' throat, throwing it to Travis Kelce, and we answered with a little bit of a stinky leg celebration. You know, Trav always brings that energy just unmatched. And, you know, it kind of goes in later here to the first half, and the Chiefs start to struggle a little bit. They find themselves down 14-7. And not knowing what to do with a high-powered Eagles offense. And out of nowhere, Jalen Hurts goes off for a scramble and fumbles the ball. And Nick Bolton takes it back for a touchdown. Game is tied. And from there, the Eagles bounce back. Jalen Hurts, not really flustered at all, answering, and takes the Eagles into the half up 10, 24-14. But I think the turning point in this game was right before half. The Eagles were marching down the field thinking they were going to go up 28-14, but the Chiefs held them to a field goal, and I believe that is something that was really huge because not down 14 but only down 10. Granted, either one would have been 2 possessions, but that was a huge stop, and the Chiefs did get the ball coming out in the second half. Chiefs get the ball, come out second half, drive down the field, and hand the ball off on the 1-yard line to none other than our rookie running back, Isaiah Pacheco, now to go down 21-24. Eagles get the ball back. They're driving well. The Chiefs have opportunities to stop the Eagles on 4th and 5, but man, Jason Kelce was right when he was talking about 92% of their quarterback sneaks were successful all year, and that's honestly what they did to the Chiefs all game. We weren't able to stop it. We weren't really able to do anything with their quarterback sneaks. They were converting on 4th and 5, 3rd and 14, just long plays where you not really have a high chance of conversion. Anyways, we held them to a field goal. Another huge turning point. Chiefs get the ball back, come down, drive down the field, and it was a motion to bring Kadarius Toney in and out. Typically, that was man coverage, so they have to stay high on the player and not be able to cheat the route. Well, it was a cutback motion, and it found Kadarius Toney wide open where he basically could have just walked in the end zone. So now the Chiefs take the lead for the first time in the game, up 28-27. And then on the next drive, we forced a punt. And none other than KT again, the longest punt return in Super Bowl history of 65 yards, putting us again in striking distance from the 5-yard line. We end up in the wrong formation. Pat looks this way to motion Sky Moore, and he's on the other side. No time. Coach Reid tries to take a timeout. Refs didn't hear him. Doesn't happen. Brings Sky Moore in motion. Literally the same play, just on the opposite side. Wide open Sky Moore for his first touchdown ever in his career, and it comes in the biggest game of his life in the Super Bowl. You saw his energy after he scored. It was amazing. And this puts the Chiefs up 35-27. About 7 minutes left in the game. A lot of naysayers, they're like, the Chiefs aren't going to be able to answer. Well, now the Eagles have to answer to the Chiefs, and that's exactly what they did. Jalen Hurts brought them right down the field. Even scored a 2-point conversion. Now the game is tied with 5 minutes left. 5 minutes left in the game. You got the ball in 15's hands. Now a 2-time MVP and the two-time MVP had to break the curse of winning the Super Bowl once you're named the MVP. So he takes the Chiefs down the field. There is, I believe, 140-something left on the clock, and Juju gets held on a route. Questionable call, maybe. A lot of people saying, that shouldn't be called at that time, but you know what? It is what it is, and the Chiefs have an opportunity to either go up 7 or run the clock down. And what do? Jerick McKinnon slides short. He slides short to be able to keep the Chiefs from scoring, to run that clock, brings it down to 11 seconds, and Harrison Butker, after missing a big kick earlier in the game, comes down, absolutely golden nails, puts the Chiefs up 38-35. Now, 5 seconds left on the game clock, squibs it downfield, and they knee the ball. Jalen Hurts throws it downfield for a Hail Mary, 20 yards short. Super Bowl champs. Oh my, just greatest feeling in the world as a fan. Who would have thought that I was born and the Chiefs were terrible in 2000s. Not really good till 2012. And then only missed the playoffs 1 year in Andy Reid's tenure. Now we have 2 Super Bowl champion teams. Just unbelievable. I'm so thankful as a fan, and it's just unmatched. Ready for next year. Time to run it back. Let's go, Chiefs Kingdom. Now for party time. The parade celebration. The guys are hyped. They're putting down their adult beverages. And some people were a little upset about it, but they're grown men after they spent months, probably starting back in July, working towards a life goal that a lot of these guys weren't a part of that 2019-2020 championship. So yeah, they're going to celebrate. Just the amount of energy, the amount of support the city shows for a team that, hasn't always been the most successful, and now we're spoiled. We've had 5 AFC championships at home, 3 Super Bowls in the last 5 years, winning 2 out of 3 of them, which I would say it's pretty good. Pat's now 2-1. He's had, 2 championships, 2 MVPs, but the parade energy was just unmatched. You get into the speeches that were held at the rally. Pat's rally speech the first time probably wasn't the best because, it was new to him, and he probably had a few too many Blue Mountain Cougars. And then you had Trav out there, giving his well-deserved speech. Just bringing the energy. Pat, brought the energy. Even to hear Nick Bolton speak, that was surprising. Just a guy who's not really afraid of the camera, but just more held back, more reserved. And it was just amazing energy to see. I believe even more people showed out than they did last time. You have people that were at the rally all the way back to the memorial, kind of like in 2015 when the Royals won the World Championship, just packed. And even this parade was nicer because in 2019, 2020, it was 10 degrees and snowing. So just to be able to have all those people out there, probably 1 million plus in the city, the parade route covered in red. Obviously, you're not going to see any other color unless they're white Chiefs jerseys, but just an amazing feeling. I hope to do this year in and year out. Is it possible? Yeah. Is it improbable to win year and year and year and year after year? Not really, because it's professional football, but we have just been so spoiled with the amount of success. Just very grateful as a fan, and just the parade as a whole was awesome. Just really love the team spoiling us year again. Just very excited for what's to come in the near future. And hopefully we will be able to run it back next year. And some news now that all the celebration is not done, but kind of passed here in the last couple of weeks. EB has now been hired, Eric Bieniemy, as the offensive coordinator and assistant head coach, now with a higher title out in Washington. He is now a part of the Washington Commanders. Really congrats to him. He does deserve this opportunity because he will be the predecessor to Ron Rivera. I believe he will stay there until he becomes a head coach. He really does deserve this opportunity, and there's a lot of guys out there. Not a lot, but guys that have played for him saying, why does he deserve this job? He can't hide behind Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid anymore. That guy being LaShawn Shady McCoy. I don't get it. Yeah, there's been some toss-up things that have happened in the locker room with EB, but I believe he is a really good coach. He has a great mind, and I believe he will be successful. His tools maybe be a little different out in Washington, but with his mind, I think he'll be able to mold players into what you can have with the offense that you have. You have a guy in Terry McLaurin, so you'll be able to do well with that. And then I believe the Chiefs, if not have already, have tagged Orlando Brown again, trying to figure out a contract situation or see if we'll just keep him for another single year because he is, I believe, a decent left tackle. McCole Hardman did go into surgery today for his groin issue. They said it was a successful surgery, so that is good to know. So hopefully he's back healthy. He is a free agent, so hopefully him and the Chiefs are able to work something out, and hopefully he can stay healthy. He's a big speed threat for the Chiefs and just a notable guy, a great piece of our offense. And then a couple other notable free agents, Andrew Wiley, Juju Smith-Schuster, guys that we would like to bring back because they actually worked their tails off this year and were able to do a good job for the Kansas City Chiefs. So overall, we know how the season went. Ring us, Super Bowl champs, Kansas City Chiefs. But at the beginning of the season, I was kind of a little bit questionable of what Pat was able to do because he did probably lose the scariest threat in the NFL in Tyreek Hill. And Pat showed out. He put up the most yards by an NFL player in the season, won his second MVP, second Super Bowl MVP, and brought the Chiefs another world championship. I thought they were going to go 12-5. They ended up going 14-3, which is an amazing record, with the number 1 overall seed in the AFC. And having a guy like Trav, the best tight end in football, and even guys that, may have not had the most yards. Juju had a decent year with 900-plus receiving yards. Marquez Valdez-Scantling had like 500 to 600 yards, not probably what he wanted in production, but was able to step up when guys went down. We brought in a trade guy in Kadarius Toney. I mean, the Giants are probably very pissed off right now. They lost such a dynamic threat, a 4-3 guy, and you saw what Kadarius Toney could do in the Super Bowl, and even when we got him, and he only had a few plays every now and then. So overall, I'm just very blessed as a Chiefs fan to be able to talk about some of the most dynamic guys in football, and then our defense that stepped up, slow start to the year, and they balled out towards the end of the year, having, I think, the third or second most sacks. They were really slept on, and a lot of people just thought they weren't that good, and we freaking answered the prayer. We punched people in the mouth when we needed to, but kind of some scary moments for me this year were when we lost to the Colts. Granted, it was early in the year. Games like that happen. And then when we lost to the Bills and the Bengals in the regular season, everybody was like, oh, you're going to lose. You're not going to get an AFC championship at home. Well, that happened. We punched you guys in the mouth, and it doesn't matter. You beat us in the regular season. We finished out 14-3. We had won every home game, and we won a ring. So you can talk all you want during the regular season, but we'll punch you in the mouth in the playoffs, and we'll go and take our ring. Anyways, just very happy with how this season turned out, and I'm ready to run it back next year with more and better content, not just with us, but with the Chiefs as a whole. All right, well, both Kellen and I just want to take the opportunity to thank you guys for sticking with us this year. It has been stagnant at times because we've been either starting up in Maryville, coming back to Kansas City. I've been out to Lone Jack at a time, I think once. But just trying to figure out how to shoot, when to shoot. He's the man behind the camera, making me look better. I'm just a piece, and he really does it all. So he's made it a lot easier for me. But we just want to take the time to thank you guys. And we hope with you guys stick with us next year, and just for bigger and better content, and hopefully we got more rocking with you guys.
And with that being said, we don't know when we'll be back. It'll probably be sooner rather than later. From the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for subscribing and watching them. I know I got a lot of family supporting me, and a lot of friends doing the same thing as well. But I really do like to say thank you to all of our viewers and subscribers. We will be back. We have some new things coming up, a Twitter page, some YouTube shorts coming up,
yes,
and Joe's going to get his own little TikTok that I'm going to help him set up. Because
Yes.
like an old person, he is very inept when it comes to certain media platforms.
I know how to use the apps, but not as well as I probably should when we're trying to grow. But we are growing. We're starting. It's been about 20 weeks, but you got to start somewhere.
It's been a very challenging 20 weeks between school, graduating, job.
I'm still in school. I'll be graduating in May, so.
So thank you again for sticking with us. But this new content that we're going to be putting out to you guys are going to love it. It's going to be more of a couple times a week type deal rather than once a week. So the content will be coming. We'll have better content, and I promise you to the viewers that this will be just the start.
And remember, we're world champs. We're ready to run it back. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in to the 816-660 podcast. I'm your host, Joe Ramos, along with my man, Kellen McKinney, the man that does it all behind the scenes, the beauty behind it all. And we'll see you next time. Deuces.